Right here, down. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast presents. It's your bull, Mr. Owens. And after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes.
What's going on, Eagles family? It's your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, tapping in with that midnight green medicine. Now, look, if you've been following the Philadelphia Eagles through training camp, you already know that things have started to get very, very, very interesting. We've had injuries, players returning, players making statements, position battles, and a preseason game that just happened against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, following the Baltimore Ravens, you know we're next going to head up to Foxborough, up to New England for our second joint practice and preseason game. You know how that's going to go. But this is where things kind of get really interesting, because we're not just talking about another practice. We're talking about the Eagles putting their football team into a completely different environment, different opponent, different looks, different personnel and coaching staff, different communication challenges, because there will be challenges. Do not be fooled, right? Then you got the most interesting piece of it all, maybe emotional, some may say, but A.J. Brown facing the Philadelphia Eagles for the first time since being traded. That's something that's going to be monitored. The whole world is going to be watching that one, right? Hey, you already know how we are in Philly. We over it, but they going to keep the pot stirring for real. You know how they going to do for real. So, we got to bring you up to speed on everything that's going on. It's like I said, recapping Baltimore, day 12 of training camp, injuries, offensive line, QB1, and more. Y'all know how we get down on this channel. Now, like I said, Eagles are heading up to Foxborough. Everybody's going to be watching. That's going to be must-see TV. This is where we start to separate the noise from ball, right? Now, past preseason game. Didn't look good.
Wasn't good.
Right, the preseason score.
No bueno.
But we're not panicking. We're not going to overreact. But it's the preseason game. But at the same time, we're not going to act like it didn't happen. That score was 24-7. Got our asses handed to us. It didn't look good. All right, but look, it's the preseason. There are things that Philadelphia has to clean up. Eagles only gained 159 yards. 159 yards. Crazy. Right?
Total?
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, my God.
We had just 6 first downs, and it took us a while to get our first.
The first one.
Yeah, it took us forever to get it. We went 0 for 9 on third down, and then the penalties, 10 penalties for 96 yards. That's not winning football. But granted, first preseason game, you expect rush, you expect things of this nature, but we have to get it together. Now, the score doesn't matter because it's August. Not September, not the regular season, it's August. But at the end of the day, the performance does. So we're going to break it all down. You know how we do on the Main Thing Podcast presents. You know how we going. But before we get to it, you already know Mr. Owens got to talk to you real quick.
Already know, because them 10 penalties, gotta cut that out. Gots to stop. Gots to be more careful, okay? Because look, we don't want a repeat of 2025, okay? But I got a little special delivery real quick. Hold on, what we got? It's Christmas in August, okay? But look, man, me and Big Huss met this dope individual who has their own clothing brand, man. Cash hearted. Y'all see it right here. Let me put it all in the screen for y'all. Let me block my face real quick, man. Look, the material is right. The design is right, man. It's gonna make you feel so good, man. Look, $100,000. All right, look. Make sure y'all tap in on IG. It's cash department underscore, but cash with a K. Don't get left when you supposed to go right and be with the winning team, man. Shout out to Cash Hearted. Look, make sure y'all grab y'all merchandise from him because look, everything is official tissue. Just like our brand, his brand is official too, man. So make sure y'all tap in. But look, to our A1, day one loyal supporters, thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the community and our family. But look, let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility of our channel in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, make sure y'all do this. Turn on them noties and keep your ears and eyes peeled to the streets like your local neighborhood watch. Wow. So you don't miss when me and the big bro, Big Hus, drop this pressure on y'all.
Absolutely. Hey, now go and do that. Do not hesitate. Get
Not
right
at all.
to it. You feel me? So, hey, let's jump right to it, man. So, before we get into everything that happened against Baltimore, we got to establish something real quick because this is where football conversations can sometimes get a little out of control. Philadelphia Eagles, we lost, yes, 24-7. Okay, they lost. You already know nobody wants to lose, especially how much the Eagles and this city and we all love to compete. Nobody wants to see their team get dominated, but we have to understand what we're watching. This is preseason football,
Mm.
right? It's in the regular season. We're not in the hunt for anything right now. This is preseason football. This is not going to determine who wins the NFC East, who wins the NFC. This isn't determining who's playing in January or who's in Lombardi right now. This is preseason football. So let's not pretend that the final score is some prediction of what the Eagles team is going to be. Historically, we don't even do well in the preseason if you want to keep it a B. Like that's if you go back and actually check the history of the Philadelphia Eagles in preseason, we lose more times than not. We don't do well. Rarely do. But
Mm-hmm.
there's another side of this, though, right? We cannot use its preseason as an excuse to ignore everything. And I keep saying it's preseason,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not an excuse because when you commit 10 penalties for 96 yards, that's not simply strategic issue, right? That's discipline.
Yes.
That's you not being
Focus.
locked in and focused. That is
Mm-hmm.
exactly right. When you go 0 for 9 on third down, that's something worth examining. When you only gain 159 yards and 6 first downs, that's something we have to take a look at. But when Baltimore gains 440 yards and 31 first downs, we're going to have to talk about it. Now, granted, context matters. The Eagles did not unveil their complete defense or complete offense. They didn't. They didn't need to. That's not how we do. We
Mm-hmm.
not tipping our hand to anybody, right? They're not going to give future opponents anything, right? And a lot of Philadelphia's best players were watching from the sideline. Now, Smitty, he ain't even dress up. McKee, he ain't even dress up. QB1, he over there chewing gum, chilling,
Chilling.
right? That's important. But there were still things on film that matter. And that's the approach we're talking about tonight. We're not panicking, we're evaluating. We're asking, what can we learn and how can we grow? How can we get that 1% better? Because that's what it's about. Our starters, majority of them did not play. You saw a lot of depth pieces out there. So right now, you want your depth to gain that experience and grow because it is a long, grueling season. And some of those names will be called upon to perform during the season. So you want to make sure they're ready. But this is not panic time. This is just time to get better, something to grow from.
Mm-hmm. Not panic time at all, bro. Let's always keep the main thing the main thing. Like we said, it's always stuff that we can evaluate, go back to the drawing board and
For
correct.
sure.
And this experience with the depth pieces, It's relevant, man, because as you mentioned, football is a brutal sport. All right. So injuries do occur. Knock on wood. Hopefully, we don't have any significant injuries this season, but these reps are very, very valuable for depth piece, especially because if they are called upon, as Big Huss mentioned, throughout the season and the playoffs, whatever the case may be, we don't need any drop off. We need somebody who could come in, hit the ground running, and understand their assignment and execute at a very high level. So we do got to take some positives, though, from the preseason game versus the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, so one of the biggest positives from that game is that boy, man, the son of a legend in Philly. All right. And that man is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Axe, man. Come through. The boy Jeremiah Trotter finished with 5 tackles, had 2 solo tackles, and a sack. And get it, all in the first half, all in 30 minutes of football. Okay. And look, what stood out most to me and Big Huss wasn't just simply the stat line of what Jeremiah Trotter did. It was where he kept showing up. And consistently, he was always around the football. I thought the boy was a bloodhound because, man, he's sniffing. He just over there. He finding the ball on it. Okay, playing instinctive, playing fast, playing downhill, ready to attack, and that's what you want to see out of a young linebacker, especially with him going into only his second season in the NFL. You would have thought this bull is a vet right here, but of course, with him having his dad, you know his dad's going to give him some tips and techniques to help him succeed and thrive here in Philadelphia. But Jeremiah Trotter Jr. started next to our first round pick of last season, and that was Jahad Campbell. And look, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. simply looked like somebody who wants to force the hand of the coaching staff to give him more opportunity and more responsibility on the field. Now, Zach Billboard Bong and Jahai Campbell may be the projected starters to handle the major linebacker responsibilities. We get that. But Axeman Jr., he said, not so fast, my friend, in the great words of Lee Corso. He ain't going away too fast. He's going to go down with a fight. Like we've mentioned, he has the instincts, he has the energy, he has the prowess. He plays downhill, and he showed that he can create pressure as a blitzer. And all of that matters as an NFL linebacker. But at bare minimum, this game reinforced that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. does belong on this Philadelphia Eagles roster. But the bigger question is, how many defensive snaps can he truly earn? And fam, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, that is a question that we want to keep monitoring throughout this preseason, because Jeremiah Trotter will earn some more meaningful reps, and he's going to find his way on that field. I promise you that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. First preseason game, he looked outstanding. He was
did.
playing fast, he was playing instinctive, he was being an undersized backer, especially in the middle. You think lineman getting on him, he would be getting mauled, he was slipping blocks.
Get a ball.
Yeah, he's displacing people. He looked really, really good. To your point, the coaching staff, they're gonna have some questions to make.
Yes.
They're gonna have to fill some packages where you have Billboard Bond, you have Jai Campbell, but you also have Axeman Jr. out there. You gotta find a way to get them all on the field at the same time, because that group at this point is just too talented.
Yes.
To have one of those pieces just sitting on the sideline not being used.
Mm-hmm.
So Fangio's gonna find a way to get them there, but it's just how. What will it be? How will it be? It's something to
we don't know. That's why Fangio get paid the big box.
There you go.
He gets to pay the moolah to figure that out. We're just here to analyze.
That's it. Shoot. So another positive, right? Big Ty Robinson, the Vanilla Gorilla. Look,
oh my,
Robinson had himself a pretty good night. 2 tackles, a TFL, a quarterback hit, and a sack. The sack came in the first quarter and forced Baltimore into a 3rd and 17 situation. And that's exactly what you're looking for from rotational defensive line depth. Because we already know, Philly, we have Jalen Carter. We have Jordan Davis. We have Mora Jomo. But you're going to need more than 3 guys. You need depth. It's a long season. And Robinson has reportedly been playing better as training camp has progressed. And that's what you want to see out of your second year player. Take that next step.
Yes.
Put your name in the hat to be one of those rotational pieces along the D line because you know them dudes are going to rotate left and right. And you want to be able to be on that counter after getting that tick. You know what I mean? So the improvement, it clearly showed up in his game. And he did have a late hit penalty, but we'll take it for now. It's growth. We've been headed in the right direction overall, but that's important to mention, excuse me, because we're talking about a game where Philadelphia already committed 10 costly penalties.
I'm blown.
10. I know it's a preseason game, but that is just too much.
Too much.
3 would have been
much.
too much, but 10,
10.
10, like no. So
Can't do that.
No. So even good players have things to clean up. But physically, Robinson, he gave us something to be encouraged about. You can see him moving in the right direction, and we might actually see a few more Ty Rob sightings as the season goes along if he stays on this trajectory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're excited for Ty Rob. That was a player that we wanted to draft last season, and how we pulled the trigger and we drafted him, man. Like, he shows glimpse, he shows flashes. That's all you can ask for. And the one thing to mention real quick, he did have that late hit penalty. And it sucks that it was added to that 10 penalties that we had. But also, you can't coach effort. That's the one thing that I do like. At least he's showing effort. He has a high motor and trying to get after the quarterback so that, as you said, to put his hat in the ring to get more playing time in that deep defensive line room, man. Because, like you said, we got Ojomo, Breadman, who just got paid, Jordan Davis, who got paid. It's going to be hard to crack that rotation. But if you show up every single day, continue to be disciplined, continue to be consistent, it's no reason why Clint Hurt won't look at him and be like, you know what, let's find Ty Robinson some playing time and get him in there, especially when they rotate to keep those bodies fresh on the D line. But now we got to switch over to the offense real quick, and we got to talk about a guy who is trying to make a case to be RB number 3, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Will Shipley, who had 7 carries for 22 yards. Now, that's nothing that's going to break the internet like how usually Eagles news does. You know, we again get 16 million mentions. That's what we do. But what we did like what we saw from Will Shipley is he ran decisively. He didn't play around. He hit the hole. Okay. He attacked the right side and he continued to demonstrate that he can be useful in multiple phases of the game. So we know Will Shipley, he's simply just not a runner. Okay. He's developing as well as a well-rounded receiver. And he's valuable on special teams. As we mentioned all the time, it's 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams. But if Will Shipley is projected to remain Philadelphia's 3rd running back, that is a very important role because, as we know, the Birds need somebody that they can trust behind their top 2 backs in, say, 2K and Tank Bigsby. And in a long, grueling, physically demanding NFL season, depth at running back matters. Okay, so Will Shipley, he didn't need to rush for 150 yards. He needed to show us that he could be a dependable back behind behind Saquon and Tank Bigsby. And what he did in that game against Baltimore, he showed us just that he, whenever Tank Bigsby or Saquon Barkley needs a rest, that Will Shipley could come in and it won't be any major drop off from the 2 backs that are currently in front of him on this roster.
No, for sure. Well, what I like from him, he looked a little faster to me.
He
looked
did.
A little bit more explosive, especially when hitting the hole. He was attacking the line of scrimmage. You
Yes.
can see it. I don't know if he slimmed down some or what the case may be, but I like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to hit the line of scrimmage, put your foot in the ground, get north and south, get what you can get. I mean, and it's hard to sometimes rush in a preseason game because the defense knows you're going to run the ball. You're not going to be throwing the ball all over the yard in preseason games typically, especially as the game gets later on type deal. So you see a little bit more people around the line of scrimmage, but looked decisive, looked explosive, right? Like I said, brings the special teams value. Will Shipley more than likely is going to be RB3.
Mm-hmm.
Just continue to prove, as you said, that you can be relied upon when your number is called. And look, the Eagles going to find some room for you.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And to add on to your point real quick, Big Huss, about Will Shipley not getting an amount of yards. Well, he only having 22 yards. He's running behind a backup offensive line. It's no starters on the field. You see what I'm saying? So the holes that are usually there for starters, when the
They're
starters are
not
on the
there.
field, they're not there for backups a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times. So let's show Will Shipley some grace, man, because he definitely showed that he does belong on this roster and he could be very valuable for us here in the 2026 season.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Now let's get into this quarterback two battle real quick. We came into
Oof.
Baltimore, yeah, wanting to see somebody create some type of separation from the other guys.
Just some.
Just a little. We didn't get it. We didn't get it. Nope. Andy Dalton, he started. He completed 3 of 6 passes for 20 yards. Philadelphia ran 9 plays while he was in there. They gained 12 yards. They did not record a single first down. It was hard to watch. Not a single first down. And that's not what you want to see from a veteran quarterback who's entering camp with the experience advantage. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, he's been around the block a little while. You'd have thought, even though with backup players inserted, he'd have still been able to move the ball. I
Right.
know you might not be able to put together long drives, 10-minute drives, but see some sort of a function or functionality to the offense. We did
Mm-hmm.
not see it. And then you enter Tanner McKee. McKee completed 6 of 10 passes for 35 yards, had a 66.7 passer rating. He did help Philadelphia secure his first down, but he also held the football against pressure, took a sack, and sailed a third down pass pretty bad, right? So now you're sitting there like, well, damn, Andy didn't do too well. Tanner McKee didn't do too well. Where are we with this QB2 battle? Where does that
Mm-hmm.
leave us? And pretty much is where we started. Dalton has experience, right? McKee has a familiarity with the organization and developmental upside, but we really don't have a quarterback two right now. Neither one has grabbed this competition and said, hey, we know we got QB1, but I'm that next guy. Y'all can lean on me. You know what I'm saying? It did not happen. And that makes Foxborough even more important because when you're a young
Nice.
quarterback or you're competing for QB2, you're not just competing against other quarterbacks. You're competing against the coaching staff's confidence, coaching staff's trust in you, how you operate the offense, the communication. Are you making the right decisions? Are you handling the protection, protecting the ball? Can you take this core guys, this group of core guys, and put something together and move the change? Have some success, right? Those are the things that we wanted to see and did not see. So when you get up to Foxborough, trust me, there's going to be no let off. Them boys are going to be up there competing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that head coach up there does, they keep a defense and they run the ball. So the defenses they're gonna have some I'll put it like this, some good looks. They'll have some good looks, but will they be able to take advantage of them? Who knows? This is a great test for Tanner McKee and Andy Dalton. We just got to see somebody really go out there and want it, take the job
Mm-hmm.
out of range. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And to add on to your point, Big Huss, real quick, man, this is very important with the joint practices that we have with the New England Patriots because in no world do I see the Birds keeping 4 quarterbacks, bro. Absolutely
Absolutely,
not.
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So as we know, QB1, he's solidified. All right. He in that joint, he's starting. Okay. But behind him, that's where it kind of gets murky. So whether that be Andy Dalton, whether that be Tanner McKee, who takes that next leap and separates themselves from the other individual, then the odd man out might be the person that does get traded because I can see our rookie quarterback who he drafted this season potentially being on a roster, and if he's not on a roster, they'll put him on a practice squad.
And that's how I
Uh,
say it. Yeah,
yeah, but Tanner McKee and Andy Dalton have to separate themselves from each other because it is people don't understand and realize how important quarterback two is. People laugh at that. Oh, you're the backup. Oh, you don't get no. You hold the clipboard. Nah, nah, nah. The quarterback two is very important to the offense because if that starter goes down, you got to insert the quarterback two to make sure that nothing drops off. You still have to. I'm gonna use your word, Huss. Be functional with the offense, not look out of sort, not look out of whack. You have to be able to move the offense forward. Knock on wood. Hopefully, QB1 doesn't get injured, but we need somebody to put their foot down and be like, nah, I'm going to be the one that's going to be behind QB1 when it's all said and done. So we need to see something here in Foxborough. But I just mentioned our rookie quarterback that we drafted, so we can't forget about Cole Payton, okay? And look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, before people look at us like, hold on, what are y'all talking about? We're not saying Cole Payton should suddenly become QB2 here in Philadelphia. Let's make that clear, okay? He's in his development phase, okay? But he gave the offense something. He entered with a little more than 11 minutes remaining in the ball game, but poof, suddenly there was life on the offensive side of the football. So Cole Payton, his final numbers, he finished with 4 completions on 9 attempts for 34 yards. And that's not spectacular by any means, but something that was very intriguing and interesting was the film. And when we went back and watched it and dissected it, Cole Payton, he was extending plays. While he was extending plays, he kept his eyes downfield. He didn't immediately abandon the pass and just be like, you know what, I'm going to tuck the football and run, even though he had some athleticism. But Cole Payton capped Philadelphia's only touchdown drive by going off script and finding Eric, I don't want to butcher his name, Uzinkanma in the corner of the end zone. Now, that's some quarterback play that we want to highlight because that wasn't simply look, the quarterback runs around and makes something happen, just basically backyard football. You're just freestyling, all right? He extended the play while keeping his eyes downfield, and that's key as a quarterback. When you get out the pocket, don't look down. You got to always keep your eyes down the field to make sure, look, you're seeing where you're throwing to first, but then you always got to make sure that the receivers are open because you don't want to just have your eyes down and then look up and throw the football and the next thing you know it's picked off. All right. But he gave the route time to develop, and that is big, especially coming from a rookie quarterback. But then he didn't drill the pass. He put a little touch on it. That is key too. Now, that is some developmental quarterback material that Cole Payton did in the regular. I mean, not I'm sorry, not in the regular season, in the preseason. So if Andy Dalton and Tanner McKee continue to leave the door open, and we're not talking Bruno Mars, all right, Cole Payton is going to definitely deserve some opportunities to get a crack at QB2. That's all we're just trying to say here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. We don't want no smoke, but if you want real honesty and you want truth, that's why you're here with the Main Thing Podcast with me and my big bro, Big Hus, man, because we going to give it to you raw, real, and straight, all right?
And it was just that, man. You inserted Cole Payton, bro, and there was life. He gave the offense some juice. When I mean the offense was stagnant the
Higher
entire
game.
game, the
Jesus.
entire game for real. So he took the opportunities when the passing lanes were there. He delivered, but at some point he just said, "Look, man, I'm gonna put it on my back and make it do what it do." He
Mm-hmm.
made plays. So look, I understand it's preseason, but with preseason games, like you said, you're in there with the second, third, fourth strings, dudes who just got signed the day before, who are working at the grocery mart or the gas. You're out there with a bunch of sometimes randos. So you just got to go out there and be a baller. And what I saw was him being a football player, and I could appreciate that. You know what I mean? But to like the point you just said, if the Red Rifle and Tanner McKee want to leave that door open, hey, whoever wants it, Cole Payton, put your name in that ring, bro. Put your name in that hat and take advantage. And that's really what we're seeing. Now, we got to talk about this offense. This is where we're going to spend some time because the offense, and I know it was backups, but still, the offense, it was bad. It was not good. And there's no way around it, right? It was just that ugly, right? Philadelphia opened the game with 4 consecutive 3-and-outs. Doesn't that sound familiar? The first drive, 3 yards. The second, 7 yards through 6 plays. Then Darius Cooper had a drop that ended another possession, and the ball got on him, but you got to make that catch.
You got to make that catch.
You got to make that catch, right? Then Tanner McKee entered, 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. Philadelphia didn't record its first down until the second quarter. The second quarter. Now, like I said earlier, the Eagles finished with 159 total yards. They went 0 for 9 on 3rd down, and the offense just looked disconnected. It did, and at one point I asked myself, I'm like, I'm hoping that the starting group isn't looking as disconnected as the second or third unit.
Ain't no way.
Yeah.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized